In the dark of the dungeon, the cold stone walls of the dungeon seemed to close in around Eliza as she descended deeper into the bowels of the ancient castle. Her footsteps echoed off the damp stone, a sound that felt more like a warning than a mere noise. She wasn't supposed to be here. The villagers had warned her not to venture near the prison cells beneath the castle, but curiosity had always been her greatest flaw. Her lantern flickered, casting unsettling shadows on the walls. The air was thick, musty, and stagnant. As she made her way deeper into the darkness, she stumbled upon a small iron door, barely noticeable, hidden in the farthest corner of the corridor. It was locked, but the lock looked old, rusted, and easy enough to break open. What's the worst that could happen? She yanked the lock free and pushed the door open. The smell hit her first, metallic, sour, and something decayed. Then came the sight. It was a cell, smaller than the others she had passed, with no furniture except a pile of ragged, tattered cloth. But what made her blood freeze was the figure lying there. A man. No, a thing. Pale as death itself, with skin stretched thin over bones that seemed too sharp, too angular. His eyes were closed, and his lips, thin and cracked, parted in a strange, hungry way. She could see the faintest glimmer of something in the darkness. His teeth. Fangs. Eliza's heart pounded in her chest, her breath catching in her throat as her gaze dropped to the floor, where the tattered cloth barely concealed pools of dark, dried blood. She should leave, should turn around and never look back. But something in her refused to obey. Something in her wanted to know. Cautiously, she stepped closer. Her lantern light illuminated more of the figure, and she could now make out his long, black hair tangled and matted against the floor. His chest rose and fell, slow and shallow. He was alive, or at least he appeared to be. She had heard the stories, the ancient tales whispered among villagers, of vampires locked away centuries ago, imprisoned in the dark dungeons to be forgotten. But the legends were old, weren't they? Foolish things. Eliza bent down to get a closer look. Her pulse raced, but there was something almost pitiful about the creature. His skin was ashen, his once elegant features twisted by some strange, eternal hunger. She almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But the moment she knelt next to him, the hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. The air seemed to thicken, the shadows stretching unnaturally around her. Without warning, his eyes snapped open, black as midnight. His mouth pulled into a twisted grin, revealing fangs long and sharp, glistening in the dim light. Eliza. His voice was a rasp, like dry leaves scraping against stone. It sent a chill straight to her bones. How did he know her name? She took a step back, her breath catching in her throat. Please. The word was soft, almost a plea. Release me.